Very welcome back. Now, our next guest has had wonderful success both as a solo artist and as a member of Celtic Thunder. He has performed for none less than President Obama himself, reached number 23 in the US Billboard chart and sold out the National Concert Hall here in Dublin for 3 successive years.
Longest gig in history. Joining us now to tell us about his fantastic career to date and his upcoming concert is Ireland's premier young tenor, Paul Byrom. And he's a nice bloke as well. Paul, good to see you.
Thanks very much.
Morning,
I don't
Paul.
know about the young thing anymore. I think that was on a very early press release.
Yeah.
When you turn 30, you lose that title, don't you?
I think you can hang on to it.
But not as a tenor, because all our
It's true.
tenors are at the higher end.
Right, well, I'll let you tell them that.
So, what have you been doing? You've been busy?
I've been busy enough, thank God, yeah. As you said in the intro, it's been a mad all year and been away quite a bit in the States, which is nice on one hand, but on the other hand, you kind of hate losing your finger on the pulse over here. So that's kind of why we're back in the concert hall this year, and it's just nice to keep the momentum going here. And as you said, we've done the concert hall 3 years now in a row, and this will be our 4th year. So it's exciting and it's fun to be able to come home and perform for your Irish audience.
Tell us about the States. We all love the States, don't we?
Well, we do, yeah. States is great. I mean, it's nice to be over there at the moment, and we were there just before the Obama election, and I think everybody was praying he'd get in, because he's a very positive attitude, and it's certainly now seeping through to the people, and it's a nice thing to see. And I think if we could just get a little bit of that kind of over here, to be nice,
Paul, you got to perform for him though, and meet him.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Incredible. We got invited up on St. Patrick's Day, Celtic Thunder, the show that I'm in, and there's 5 soloists in the show, including myself, and we got to sing a number of songs for him, and I got to sing "You Raise Me Up" because not enough people have sang that, so I got to sing that, and which was an amazing experience. But then when we were doing the sound check, the kids were there dancing around.
Very relaxed.
Earlier on in the day. It's very much a home. They've turned it into a home, and then afterwards we met Michelle and Barak, and they came in and they were lovely and really fun, and she's overwhelmingly beautiful.
Just say that again. We met Michelle and Barak. Isn't that cool?
Michelle.
That's so cool.
Shelley.
Barra, we call him.
Barra, Shelley.
But and a lovely guy, and when you see people on television, you think, God, I wonder is he that cool in real life?
But he was.
And more.
Really?
Yeah.
And is she very... Because I kind of imagine she's maybe the power behind the throne. I'd say she's an impressive lady.
It's funny because I wouldn't, when I saw her in the elections and so forth, wouldn't have been hugely gone on her. As in, I wouldn't have thought she was hugely attractive. But then you meet her in person and she's stunning.
Really?
I mean, she really is. And she takes over the room very much.
Yeah.
And he lets her. He's a gentleman, to the utmost.
They're a great team, obviously.
They're very
team,
much a team. Very much a team. And one of the nicest things, because when they came in, I said, to Michelle, I said, we've been rooting for you at home, and she turns around and she goes, well, we've been watching you guys at home. So that was kind of nice to know that somebody's watching us.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The songs, you do a lot of crossover stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
And encouraging more people into the music as well.
Well, I think that's kind of important, and it's a nice time to be a tenor at the moment because classical music has become more accessible to the so-called average Joe. For years, it was very much an elitist kind of person's music, and I think with the likes of Pavarotti and the boys during the 1990 World Cup, that opened it up really to the average Joe, and it's nice. And since then, I think it's kind of snowballed so forth. So therefore, in my gigs, for example, in September, I mean, the first half will be all the West End stuff, so all the stuff that you love and grown up.
Les Mis and all that stuff.
Yes, South Pacific, Cats, there's stuff from everything there, Susan Boyle has kind of ruined Les Mis for me a bit, but we'll get over that. And then the second half is a little bit of, everything, I do songs that Josh Groban recorded,
cool.
and then we're doing Let It Be with the Ballantyre Male Voice Choir, the award-winning choir that have travelled all over. Yeah, so we're going to do that, and Imagine by John Lennon. So there's a lot of little things there for every taste of music, and that's nice because when you look into the audience, I'm seeing ages ranging from 15, 20 years of age all the way up to 120. So that's really, really cool.
You mentioned Susan Boyle there. What do you think of X Factor?
I love it, watching it at the early stages when they're all brutal. The lunatics going in and, how are you doing, Louis? And, you kind of sit there going, really? And I don't know how they do it. I would give my right arm to be on the panel. I think it'd be just brilliant. But when it turns into the kind of the karaoke session, I tune out.
But do you think it's all hype? Did you hear Susan Boyle and go, my gosh, she's got an extraordinary voice? Or did you think...
I think she's got a nice voice.
But nothing amazing.
I wouldn't think she's anything astounding. I think just...
It's the whole package, really, isn't it?
The fact that she came out Freddie Munster, you know.
Yeah, the anti-star.
Yeah, really an unusual woman, and I'm trying to be very nice here.
And have you heard that young lad? Is it Daniel?
Daniel
that they're all
Johnson.
raving about.
He was the last act on last week's opening X Factor. They needed a big
He's the
opening.
I was washing my hair that night. So.
Come here, let's go back to touring, because all of the bands that come in, touring sounds very glamorous, and when you said States for a few months, I think, wow, I envy you. And then it's not all the glam. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of travel, and possibly some rows on the road, you know,
Oh,
a lot of guys stuck
absolutely.
together.
I mean, it's like anything else. I mean, I'm sure, like, even yourselves, you're working with people all the time, and
We barely get to
at least
10
you get
miles
to
a
go
row.
home, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And whereas when you're on tour, you're literally living with them, and you're on the bus. There's 12 of us on a bus, and you know, there's 3 buses of 12, and big trucks and all the rest. And on one hand, it's great because the camaraderie and the bit of banter that's there.
But do you not get on the bus some days thinking, Jesus, I've got
Oh, yeah.
200 miles on this?
No, you get on the
I
bus and
hate
you're
this.
like, where's my Kellogg's gone, lads? You know, that's my Kellogg's. Like,
okay.
My name is on the box. What's the problem? Like, you know, so there's stuff that can just be ridiculous. That
Was it 80 dates that you did?
We've done 80 so far, yeah.
Huge
We did
number,
2 nights
Paul.
in Radio City, which was
Oh,
certainly
wow.
one of the highlights of my career, you know. And we did a gig in the Staples Centre in LA, where obviously Michael Jackson recently had his service.
Yeah.
But Larry Hagman, above all people, turned up at our gig.
Super.
That's pretty cool to have
How
Larry
ludicrous
at
is
your
that?
show.
Yeah, it was brilliant. So, you know, it's been a great experience, and it is great. But there are the toughnesses to it, and that, of course, has been away from home for periods of time. And the girlfriend, you know, comes out, which is nice. She comes out every, you know, few weeks and
It's tough,
breaks
though.
it up.
Yeah.
It is tough,
Yeah.
but, you know, she's aware of kind of the line of work I'm in. And,
It has to be, yeah, it
You know,
has
she's
to be
from
that
a
way.
musical family, so she
gets it.
understands. She
Yeah.
gets it, and she's great, and she's brings me down to earth, and she slags me constantly, and no doubt she's watching right now, and she'll have a whole load of notes of what I've said wrong. So, you know.
That's what she's there for.
Yeah.
Just to get a tad vulgar. People are always asking me about musicians. How does it work, like, compared to a normal job? Do you get a paycheck lodged into the account every month? You know, that sort of way.
Yeah.
How do royalty checks, do they come back every so many months? Or
Well, it depends. I mean, like when you're involved in a massive show like Celtic Thunder or Riverdance or any of these big ones, you would be on a retainer, or you'd be looked after in that regard. So, and therefore, you know, at a drop of a hat, they can go, Paul, we need you somewhere, and it works both ways. So that's important. But you know, prior to that, I mean, you know, it is a bit of an inconsistent paycheck, and it can be quite worrying. I mean, I used to sing at funerals and just, you know, weddings and so forth, and do whatever needed
Just to
doing
keep going,
in
of
order
course,
to keep going. And then obviously you get your glamour gigs, or you're on television a couple of times and people think, God, he's loaded. You know, and you're like, that's right, loaded. Yeah.
Paul, when's the gig in the concert hall?
The gig is September 12th.
September 12th,
So ticking away, thank God. It's getting in close.
And are tickets still available for
Tickets
people?
are nch.ie. There's no handling fee, which is always nice.
Oh, that's great.
It's always a nice thing with the concert hall.
It is.
And they kind of, the most expensive ticket is €30. So it's a really
Good night out, good value.
recessionary friendly concert.
all right.
That's
And we
what
can
I like to
download the music, iTunes.
Oh, you
Get you
can,
there.
online, yeah.
Okay.
Preferably legally.
Only preferably. Paul, pleasure as always, and good luck with the gig. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
Oh dear, I'm just hearing in my ear. We do not condone the illegal taping and robbing of music.
Neither do I.